Hello, everyone, and a very good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are joining us from across the globe. I am Shaq, your host, your friend, your friendly superhero who brings all the greatest, who brings the greatest minds on this planet Earth to your screens. And I couldn't be more excited to welcome you to a very special episode of the Shack podcast, where we celebrate innovation, authenticity, and the incredible power of connection. Today's episode isn't just another tech talk. It's the grand unveiling of LinkedIn's most revolutionary leap yet. That is LinkedIn's 360 Brew, a transformation that redefines how we experience LinkedIn from algorithm to AI, from data to destiny. And trust me, this conversation will change the way you look at LinkedIn profile forever. Now, every revolution has a visionary, and today we are honored to have a legend of LinkedIn with us whom I fondly calls the Kohinoor of the digital world. Our guest, Mike Adam. Mike Adam is someone I, you know, I personally call him the Kohinoor of the digital world because he's a rare diamond whose brilliance has shaped the very fabric of LinkedIn learning and social transformation. For over 20 years, Mike has helped professionals, teams, and organizations turn LinkedIn into their sales, hiring, and branding engine. He has trained thousands globally, guided companies to create authentic digital identities, and empowered countless professionals to turn connections into conversations and data into destiny. Mike, it's a true honor to have you here on the Shack podcast. Welcome, my friend. How are you today?
Thank you. And thank you for having me on your podcast. It's always a pleasure to see you, and being in the chair this time is always a bit special. I'm doing well, and yourself?
I am great. And the pleasure is all mine. And thank you so much for accepting my invite at such a short notice. I also heard that you've been having some medical emergencies last week, and I hope that you're doing all okay.
Just one. Not many,
Okay,
just one.
one. I'm sorry. I need to correct that. Wrong choice
That's
of
okay.
words. Just one.
That's all right. It's all
Okay.
good now.
Okay, just to tell you that my dearest friend on this planet Earth, on LinkedIn, my friend Jeff Young is here. Hello, Jeff. How are you today? And thank you for, say you are the first person who has joined the Shack podcast today during this discussion. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Hello, Jeff. And yeah, we talk on other channels, but back and forth on LinkedIn. But again, thank you for being here live with us today.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you so much. And now, uh, uh, before we dive in into the crux of the matter and what
Mhm.
this 360 brew is all about, I want to share something close to my heart. At Shack Podcast, our mission is a simple yet powerful to ignite meaningful conversations that bridge people, purpose, and progress. We exist to amplify voices that inspire, inform, and innovate so that together we can navigate the evolving digital world with awareness, courage, and authenticity. Every episode I do and my team do, every voice we bring is driven by one core belief: when knowledge meets heart, transformation begins. And today's episode is exactly that, a perfect blend of technology, transparency, and truth. So, to everyone tuning in live on LinkedIn and YouTube and various other social media platforms right now, grab your coffee, tag your network, and get ready to take notes. We will be exploring questions the world is curious about. What exactly is 360 Brew and how did it come to life? Why did LinkedIn choose the Mixtral 8x22B architecture as its foundation? What does it mean to verbalize user data? And most importantly, how does this revolution impact you, the everyday LinkedIn user? Don't forget, this is your session too. Drop your thoughts, reactions, and questions in the comments. We'll bring some of them live to Mike during the session. To be very honest with you, I'm going to put all your questions to Mike live and uh, ask him respectfully and request him to answer those questions. And I know Mike would be happy to answer them all. So just flood the comments with your questions, and I would be happy to bring them up and ask Mike about it.
Yep.
Okay, moving forward very quickly with the session. Mike, I want to ask you before we start the questioning. I want to ask you that do you think there are shortcuts to success on LinkedIn, or as a matter of fact, in any arena or in any area of life, are there any shortcuts to success?
Well, in all honesty, there seem to be. There are people who find ways to find a shortcut to do things faster. Unfortunately, those shortcuts entail that you give up a bunch of stuff and that you sometimes lose yourself, and they're never guaranteed on the long in the long term. I mean, yeah, there are shortcuts on LinkedIn for sure, but LinkedIn is looking at them and changing how they work and try and eliminate people using these shortcuts. So are there shortcuts? In short, the answer is yes. They're only temporarily because they get blocked. And oftentimes you lose more than what you gain from using these shortcuts.
Exactly. So people who are using shortcuts, to put it in a very technical language, what we say is hacks, LinkedIn hacks.
Mhm.
People who use hacks, who use parts, who use every other non-conventional method to game the system, to trick the
Mhm.
system, to push their post. Here is a very, should I say, a bad news. 360 Brew is here to police you around.
That might be true now, but I am sure that there are already people looking into how can we game or how can we create new shortcuts as LinkedIn moves into a new era which has AI included. However, with AI being part of that picture, it's probably going to be a whole lot tougher and more difficult than it used to be in the past. So, are we going to see hacks? I'm sure some people will find things that might work, but it will take a lot of effort, and I'm not sure that it's worth the effort that people want to put into it. But will we see more hacks? I'm sure we will somehow.
Mhm. Well, that's news to me. Even 360 Brew, a project valued around $120 billion to $600 billion, does not have the current valuation right now. I'm sorry if I'm wrong, but it's a very big chunk of money invested into this program. But scammers have found a way already to game.
No, they haven't found it yet, but they're probably going to be looking at any. I mean, when LinkedIn started out, nobody was looking. No, there were no hacks, and then certain people started seeing, oh, maybe we can do this faster, we can do this better, we can do this simpler, and they started to develop hacks. So as we progress in time, people are always looking for faster ways to do things, and this is something that's typical about humans, and people will continue to look for those type of things to do, whatever the environment is today or in the future. So it's not because we have AI now that people will stop trying to get there. I mean, as we speak, we all know that being part of AI in searches, whether it's a chat GPT, a copilot, or whatever, it's all about showing up with your input and your content in those engines. And people are trying to figure out how can we make sure that our content and our things that we do show up in these you know AI engines, whether, like I said, whether it's ChatGPT, whether it's Copilot, whether it's Claude, whatever it is. People want still, even though it's going fast, people still want to go faster and more automated. And it's typical human that they will be looking for new and innovative ways to use technology that is here today.
Okay. Well, that's anyhow. Anyhow,
Mhm.
only future can tell if they can crack the code, if they can decode this program. But anyhow, well, first, I mean, say this is very early, and only
Mhm.
you, Mike Adam, can decode this vast knowledge
Mhm.
of this program. And this is very early, and we're just getting into early stages of this program, which is 360 Brew, a new LinkedIn engine. And let's quickly try to explore what this is all about, and let's
Okay.
start the questions. So moving forward quickly, Mike,
Mhm. Mhm.
to the question number one, which I have for you, and I'm going to put that on the screen for you.
Mhm.
How did the very first spark of 360 Brew come about inside LinkedIn?
Well,
That would be
LinkedIn is a software program and consists of different modules. We have search, we have content posting, we have our home feed, we have all kinds of recommendation system that has grown over the years, and every module has created its own ranking system, its own suggestion system, and it becomes very clunky and difficult to actually upgrade the platform because a change to one thing might entail a lot of other changes and things that won't work anymore. So LinkedIn at some point has decided there's got to be a better way to collect data, to use the data that we have today, and actually create a central place where all that data is connected, and all the engines or all the functions that are around this, call it an exclusive database, can draw all out of the same way. And so what is the Brew 360? It's basically a ranking and recommendation system. And that will feed into any module that LinkedIn has on the platform, whether, like I said, it's a search request, whether it's your home feed that needs to be built, and so on. What I would like to maybe make a little a comparison is look at 360 Brew as Chat GPT, right? Because it knows everything about everything, and everybody. It's scraped the internet and has a lot of information. Now, the way that we use it is we, as individual users, we type something we call a prompt. So we send a request to that database or that AI system, and it comes back with answers. And that's exactly what's going to happen is that all the different parts of LinkedIn will send prompts based on our input to that central area, which is 360 Brew. And that will come back with the answers that will then be displayed in whatever the module is. So the reason why LinkedIn built it is because they needed one place where all that data is and everybody draws from the same data. And there is no, from an engineering point of view, it is much simpler to develop and grow the applications from here onwards.
Okay. I've just heard you saying that this is the Chat GPT for LinkedIn. Is
Yes,
that
and actually, I want to add is the big difference. It's LinkedIn is not reaching out to the whole world to collect and train it. LinkedIn is using its own environment, meaning our profiles, our messages, our posts, our comments, to actually train the data so it becomes very focused around what people are doing on the platform. It doesn't go out there and collect information from, other websites and all of that stuff. That's not the point. The point is to try and learn everything about the users, the way their platforms their profiles are structured, and how they operate, how they behave. And basically, what you're doing is it's a smaller version of ChatGPT. I'm sorry, but that's what it is. It's a ranking system.
okay? A smaller version of Chat GPT.
No,
Can I call it a pocket-sized Chat GPT for LinkedIn?
yeah, it is a. To me, that's the best way I can explain it. Is that it is that way. It's a small version, and the data that is being used is only data that is coming out of LinkedIn and not from outside of LinkedIn, like ChatGPT or Copilot or any of the other ones.
Okay. Let me ask my viewers. Do you think that this is a pocket version of Chat GPT? Just let me know in the comments, and I'm going to put it across to Mike. I mean, say your questions would be put across to Mike, and let us see, uh, you know, uh, what answers Mike. Do you want to add anything about that Chat GPT part, Mike?
No, no, no. I mean, I think that's it is built as a multi-dimensional. I would call it a multi-dimensional database, but it's more than that. It actually understands text, interprets text, gets can analyze at a super speed what we do and what we do. So at the end of the day, it will know us better than we know ourselves.
Okay, well, that's a very, very bold statement. The program will know us better than ourselves. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, yeah, no, and that is true. I mean, everything we will be doing on the platform, we don't always realize it, but the platform keeps track of what we do, keeps track of our behavior, and
Mhm.
some things we don't know. And this is nothing new, in all honesty. If you look at Facebook, Facebook knows much better who we are. TikTok knows us much better than who we really are based on our behavior on those platforms. Now, LinkedIn will do literally the same thing, except they'll keep it limited to the platform itself.
Okay. Yes, I totally agree with you. But Facebook collects our data or study our behavior just to run ads and
No,
uh, you know, put across the things which we want if we intend to buy them and kind of thing.
true,
So,
true, but I mean, Facebook has a different meaning in life, has a different mission in life, is more in our private side. While LinkedIn, it's about knowing us professionally, what interests us professionally, and that comes from your profile, that comes from your comments, and that even comes from the posts that you put out or the people that you connect with.
okay. Before quickly moving on to the, please go ahead.
No, no, I think if you ask people, who are you connecting with, most people can't answer that question. I'll tell you, soon enough, this whole system will know who you connect with and
Okay.
will show you the right people that comply to that type of a platform.
Just out of curiosity, before moving forward to the next question, first of all, I
Mhm.
want to thank you so much for explaining that question and for the answer. Thank you so much for explaining that in such detail.
Mhm.
The thing which I wanted to ask you is, you know, uh, the number one problem right now for everyone on this platform, LinkedIn, be it, uh, I mean, see, it doesn't make any difference if you're a business owner, if you're looking for a job, if you're a professional.
Mhm.
Everybody has this problem with fake profiles and
Right.
scammers. Is that the new LinkedIn's AI 360 Brew? Is that, I mean, say, will it have any effect on those kind of profiles? It will just go ahead and catch those profile and deactivate them. What do you have to say about that?
I think LinkedIn will have more ideas of what type of profiles feel and look fake, and will be able to flag them to real people, because the system will not actually deactivate them themselves, because it's still a system that's based on decisions. It's based on ones and zeros. So it would be really tough if you got the zero end of it as opposed to the one end of it. But I think it will, by the way those profiles behave and how they look, it might eventually be easier for LinkedIn staff, customer service, and others to detect fake profiles. But that will take quite some training into the model before that can even happen, because there's a lot of fake profiles out there on LinkedIn that you would never tell they're fake.
Okay. Yes,
Be-
that's true.
beca- because there are profiles. I mean, I've seen profiles with 500 plus connections that post on a regular basis, that comment, and that are really fake profiles. But everything looks on the outside like it's a true, honest profile. So, it, human, it's hard to find them. And I think if you put a system like AI behind it, it might be simpler to identify them in the long term. But like I said, it's going to have to be a lot of training that goes into it. And I'm not sure that that's going to be the priority.
Mm, I agree with that. I agree with that. And LinkedIn, if you're watching us live, please select Mr. Mike Adams to train your AI. He's the best of the best. So, moving forward quickly to the next question, and the question is on the screen for you. What exactly is 360 Brew at its core, and how does it fundamentally differ from the old school algorithms that relied on likes and clicks?
Well, the thing is, of course, is that when we were just talking about cheaters and systems that falsify results, today LinkedIn functions on likes and comments as drivers, plus a bunch of other little things, but as drivers for virality of, for example, posts. I think what is happening with the AI behind it is that LinkedIn will read our posts, or will read our profiles, interpret who we are, what we do, who we focus on, and then will actually look at what is the content that was loaded up into the model, and say, well, this type of content would be good for this person to see. And it will no longer be the content that's liked by 50,000 people. It might be content that is very niche, that has 2 likes, but is perfectly placed for a person that has a profile XYZ, comments on people like that. So you get a text interpretation as opposed to a numeric, how many likes, how many comments, and that can be gamified, which is what the people do today to try and beat the system. It will be very hard to do, but it's more of a textual or and a contextual environment that will be the biggest change. And what that means, we don't know entirely, because I'll put in my disclaimer here. I only can read about 360 Brew. Two is we have no idea how much of 360 Brew has been rolled out in the platform. And four is like, where are they in the training? That we have no idea about that. So it's the best of my ability at this point to try and explain it from the position that I'm seeing.
Fair enough. Fair enough. As I've already said in the beginning of this show, that it's very very initial phase
Yeah.
of, of this program or of this
Hmm.
AI,
Hmm.
which LinkedIn is trying to implement in their systems, in their algorithms. It's a very initial phase to tell anything. I mean, say to comment or to give any exact information about it. But still, we are trying to discuss
Hmm.
uh, whatever we can based on whatever we have found in our researches
Yep.
or research in our studies.
Hmm.
So, thank you so much for that answer. Quickly moving on to the next question, which I have for you on the screen. How was the decision made to build a 360 Brew on the open source Mixtral 8x22B architecture instead of starting from scratch?
Well, the thing is, and I'm not privy to that information, of course, why LinkedIn chose that. But from what I understand, is LinkedIn chose an existing platform. Um, they didn't start from scratch. They had an underlying platform, which is this Mixtral 8 times 22 billion, which then leads to the 150 billion connections or parameters that we'll talk about probably later on. But it was already in the model was in place. It just had to be adapted to LinkedIn and the LinkedIn environment. So it was cost wise probably cheaper to do it that way than to pick something up that existed than reinventing it from zero, like yeah, like ChatGPT was invented more or less from zero.
Fair enough. Um, I mean, say yes. We at this moment, uh, why did they choose Mixtral? It's very hard to say.
Hmm.
And why did they not choose to build it from scratch? Then again, it's a mystery again.
Well, it's
Anyhow,
not.
moving
It's
on
it's
to the
it's
next
in itself.
question.
It's not a mystery because like any company, they're all looking at a model that has already had some proof, and B is you look at the cost point from a costing point of view. How much is it going to cost to make it yourself, or it's build or buy kind of a decision.
Exactly, exactly. I totally agree with you, and thank you so much for explaining
Mhm.
that answer in detail.
Mhm.
Moving on to the next question, which I have for you on the screen. What does verbalizing user data actually mean, and how does turning a job history or profile into natural language prompts work in practice?
Well, the thing is, if you look at the traditional database that LinkedIn runs in today and any other and many other places, is it's a database. It is structured data, which means it has its limitations. It's hard to expand and add new items to that database, requires huge efforts. So these AI systems allow developers to translate what is actually in the words and textualize what is there into natural language that we can connect with, and um, they talk about they try and figure out what the words mean, and they try and put those words in a specific context, whether you're a job searcher, a salesperson, whatever, so that it makes, again, I want to refer to ChatGPT because that's probably the simplest way to explain. If you want to write a text in ChatGPT, or you want ChatGPT to help you write a text, and you want to write that text a little bit in your own words and stuff like that, the first thing you'll do is you'll tell ChatGPT who you are, what you do, what you're trying to achieve, and any other information that can help before you actually ask a question. It's exactly what LinkedIn is doing. LinkedIn is analyzing the profiles, putting words and connections in it, and then when you want to see your home feed, when you want to search, when you want to do any action, well, that's how the link will be made, and it'll work, like I said, generally speaking, the same way as ChatGPT, except with LinkedIn data only. I can only repeat it that way.
Exactly. I totally agree with you. And thank you so much for explaining that in detail. And to be very honest with you, I sometimes I think about this, and sometimes I wonder, I ponder in my thoughts,
Mhm.
are we not investing too much into the artificial intelligence in every part of our lives? Not only, I'm generally speaking right now. I'm not
No,
trying to
no, no. I
deviate from.
understand what you're saying. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. How, I guess people are. We all want to make progress. We all, companies want to move on, want to be innovative. We all want to do more in less time, more easily. And yeah, artificial intelligence is the next thing after human intelligence, and because it can work faster, um, it does lack a bunch of things, but it can definitely help doing things much faster, much better, and why would we stop doing that? The big question is, will all of these investments actually generate money for whoever built them? Because when you look at the whole AI world, which got kind of like started with ChatGPT in terms of public knowledge and stuff like that, because it exists a long time already, but is you've seen a lot of companies show up on in the software landscape, but as many companies have also disappeared because it's serious investment, and at the end of the line, the question then becomes, can we make money in using our technology that's based on AI? And a lot of companies run out of money, and yeah, then it kind of stops. That's why today I think you see that only the big engines, ChatGPT, Copilot, Gemini, Claude, you name them, there's only a few of them continue to exist, and they keep eating more money. At the end of the day, will our $20 per month subscription pay their bill? Probably not. So their technology will have to go into other things where they actually gain the money, and then ours will be peanuts, which today probably is too, but they're eating money faster than we can breathe.
And
And
that's
it's an economical game, and yeah, it's something that only big companies can continue to do.
exactly. I totally agree with you, Mike. I
Mhm.
totally agree with that point you made. It's actually using more money than anything else on this world uses. Even I'm not sure if I'm wrong. I mean, say, please correct me if I'm wrong. Even oil and gas sector does not use that much of money. Uh, I mean, say artificial intelligence and new models coming every day. It requires a huge investment, and people are investing because they are thinking that they are going to get a huge return in the future,
Mhm.
uh, which I really doubt, to be very honest, is because the subscription cost. I think to be very honest, they are going to increase the subscription cost in the coming days. It's not going to be $20 for sure.
Mhm.
Uh, they are just making us used to artificial intelligence right now, and when we get addicted to the AI,
Mhm.
then they
Yeah.
are going to show their cards.
It and yeah, but any software program that is using that is being built is built on, especially if they give it for free initially, they try and hook you in, and then at some point, they close it down. LinkedIn is no different, except it has taken LinkedIn close to 20 years to actually make that switch. But ever since December 2023, when they crossed the 1 billion mark membership, everything now is, if you want extra functions, is payable. And this premium subscriptions left, right, and sideways. It's a
Exactly.
lot. It's a logical thing because they are no longer, charity works. Because that's how a lot of these platforms start. They become charities, if you want. And the moment they realize that, oh, damn, we ran out of money, now they have to go out and offer subscriptions and ask money from people to use it, and that's when it sometimes falls apart, or a lot of the times falls apart. I would love to see a chart of all the early starters 2 years ago, or around the time of when ChatGPT became more common, that have started and actually disappeared. I think there's going to be a lot of blood there.
Exactly. A lot, a
Yep.
lot.
Yep.
Uh, uh, it's not a little bit, but it's
Mhm.
a
Yep.
lot,
True.
to be very honest.
Yep.
But anyhow, let's see. Only future
Yep.
will
True.
decide what will happen. So moving on to the next question very quickly, which I have for you. On that is great. What were the earliest aha moments that proved a signal unified model can handle feeds, jobs, connections, and notifications all at once?
Well, the thing is, LinkedIn did its own tests, from what I understand and read, and they ran tests on different things that they do on the platform, and they found out that that was much more efficient than what originally was there, and that was the time when they said, "Aha, we need to expand this," and that's how the whole 360 Brew initiative, as I call it, got started. And we are really at the beginning, because now we have the 360 Brew ranking and suggestion system. But what is next is all the applications around it, like search, like posting, like the home feed, like suggesting people to connect with. All of that has now to be rewritten or adapted for this new structure. And I see that happening in the next, year or so.
Well, only time will tell about that.
Yeah,
Only time.
yeah, because I think at this point, what they are building is they're building, or they have built, a mini scenario for the moment, with limited data. And I think one of the questions that you also wanted to talk about is the 45 million users that they started to use with, is they build a mini model just to test it. And they found that that was actually the right way to go. So now we're in the stage of training using everybody's data. Possibly, because there are beginning to be voices saying that it's not allowed. I saw there's a judge in Ireland who kind of like put a halfway stop for the EU members on it. But anyway, so but now we're getting in the stage where more data is loaded up and interpreted and indexed and whatever the model is being created. But on top of that, LinkedIn needs to continue to run. So we're going to see the applications slowly shift from going into their traditional database towards the new AI structure that is being built.
Exactly. I
And
totally agree. Point.
that will take time. I mean, it's probably also the reason why we currently see a lot of things that are not working or working badly on LinkedIn these days. Sometimes people have glitches that there is no reason why it should happen, but it happens. And most of the time, I think it has to do with the application that are slowly switching from the traditional to trying to draw the information out of this new model.
Mhm. Well, I totally agree with that point you made there.
Mhm.
And to be very honest, right now it's again I would repeat my words. It's too early to say anything about this model and how it works. I mean, say I also heard when I was speaking to the great Lenore Johnston. She informed me. I mean, there was one of the question which I asked about which what content work best on LinkedIn, and you know, and about the LinkedIn algorithm.
Mhm.
And I still remember that she said that LinkedIn does not work on a single algorithm. It has
Correct. Exactly.
different,
That's
different.
exactly what I'm saying. Is that in the every part of LinkedIn has its own algorithm. And what LinkedIn wants to get rid of is all these different algorithms that do things differently and are hard to keep up and to maintain.
Exactly,
And that's where the model comes into place.
exactly, exactly. So only time will tell about this. At least,
Yeah.
can you give a specific time window? When we can see, we can see it happening practically in reality, more than just a pen and paper and a theory.
The thing is, there are people already saying that they're seeing it today. I think it's early to say because they've only started to expand training the system with more international data since November 3rd. We're November 11th. I don't think that training happens in 10 days. I think this is a huge amount of data that needs to be processed and needs to be read and whatever have you. So I think it is something where we will probably be able to look back in 2026 and look back and say, these have been, or this is the result of the new way of working versus what we saw in 2024-25. Plus, the other thing that needs to be added to this is how fast can these different applications that we use on LinkedIn be upgraded and updated to use this new model, um, because I don't think they won't be able to change it if they're still not working perfectly, because then the system might go down or whatever happens. LinkedIn doesn't have that. People will forgive them a little glitch left and right, like now, but if tomorrow it comes to a standstill because of something they didn't, you know, find or work, then people will go away and find other platforms to do what they do.
Okay, well, That was the same question I've asked Lenara Johnston as well. And
Hmm.
there are people who are preferring X right now and
Hmm.
Substack right now
Yep.
instead of LinkedIn, because of the aggressive approach of LinkedIn, limiting their
Hmm.
impressions, and because of that, please go ahead.
Well, I mean, LinkedIn. I think for me there is mathematically something wrong with everybody saying they have less reach. It is impossible mathematically that everybody loses. That is impossible. You can't all lose. Somebody's got to win in this game. Now, of course, LinkedIn is winning a bit in this game, that is for sure, because they are giving more visibility to their own stuff on the platform. So they're kind of winning. But there's got to be there's got to be other reasons, and I actually addressed this in a post because I'm sick and tired of hearing everybody say, "Oh, everybody's losing 60% of their reach." Yeah, but somewhere somebody's gaining that, or we have been given the wrong numbers in the past by LinkedIn. Our reach wasn't really what it said, which obviously LinkedIn has covered that base by saying it's an approximation. Um, Maybe if we comment on people, we are no longer reading posts, we're no longer scrolling past posts, so the reach is dropping because we are commenting more. And maybe there's people out there that don't talk about it, but actually see an increase in their reach because of kinds of all kinds of reasons. So this like I said, mathematically it is impossible that everybody loses. LinkedIn will win, but they can't only win. They can't be the only ones who win. So I think we have to make a step back and be honest with ourselves and maybe accept that the numbers were wrong, or people are behaving differently, thus changing the visibility numbers. And over time that will iron itself out, but for the time being it's kind of like ridiculous.
Exactly. I too also I agree with you, Mike, on
Hmm.
this. Uh,
Okay.
uh, I mean, say, not every. I mean, say, it can't happen every time. It can happen sometime.
Yeah. And
But LinkedIn,
I mean, I today, actually, even today, I saw somebody create a post that saying, the reach isn't down. I've got more views and engagements than before. And in all honesty, people only talk about the impressions. When I look
mm,
at the engagement, for a lot of people, the engagement is the same. Okay, they got less impressions, but they have the same amount of people reacting to their post, which then makes me believe that LinkedIn might be adjusting the numbers. But I mean, it's who am I to say? So I don't know. But I think again, the numbers are what they are. LinkedIn gives us a bunch of numbers. We have no way of actually verifying that these numbers are actually correct. We assume they are, but we don't know.
exactly, exactly. I totally agree with you, Mike, on this.
Hmm.
Um, to be very honest, uh, you know, we are running out of time.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it is your generosity that keeps me asking you questions.
Okay,
But moving quickly to the next question. But before that, I just wanted to ask you one thing.
okay.
Do you think that other platforms can compare to LinkedIn in terms of professionalism and the kind of environment LinkedIn provides with its best of the best security features? And is it advisable to move away from LinkedIn?
Well, that's the $1 billion question, I think. Today, there is no. real one-to-one platform that gives LinkedIn a run for its money. The same can be said about Facebook. There is today no longer an alternative to Facebook, right? Um, I mean, the thing is, there isn't, since there is no alternative, there are some platforms showing up, and but the question there becomes: is your target audience, are the people there, are they doing what you want to do, like on LinkedIn? The answer is not there, and most people aren't there. If you talk about Substack, which is probably the one that a lot of people think of moving to or adding to their mix, the thing is, it's a good platform. It's a great platform and has some functionality that like LinkedIn. But you know what? My clients, my customers, my prospects, they're not there. So am I going to put a lot of effort in a platform where my client isn't, or my prospect or my candidate is not, where they are still probably on LinkedIn, maybe not the same with the same intensity? So unless there is a platform that can make people, 1 billion people, move to that platform, there isn't going to be an option. We are stuck with LinkedIn, we are stuck with Facebook, we're stuck with YouTube, and maybe even I won't say TikTok, but we're stuck with those platforms because they have such a big number of users that it is impossible for any competitor today to actually replace them. And I think there is only one company that possibly is on the horizon today that can that can challenge any of these platforms, and that would be the people from OpenAI, because they have funding, they have smart ideas, and they are already cruising at top speed in terms of AI. Google tried it in the past. They tried to, with Google Plus, be an alternative to Facebook or LinkedIn. And well, we all know what happened to Google Plus. It went Google minus and it died.
It went to Google minus. Yes, that is exactly the correct sentence for it. Um, that's true. That's that's true. Moving on quickly to the next question, Mike, which I have for you. Now,
Okay.
let's come to I mean, say, let's explore the privacy issue,
Yep.
which is the main headache now, and
Hmm.
because this new AI training model LLM
Hmm.
does not let us opt out of it. So the question is based on this theme. How is a question on your screen? How is
Hmm.
privacy protected? How is privacy protected when training on data from 45 million users, especially by excluding EU data entirely?
Well, like I said, this was the little test scenario, if you want, because 45 million is less than the number of, is about a quarter, no, is about 20% of, even less than the US population on LinkedIn. So they didn't. First of all, LinkedIn wanted to test this model based on English only, easy, no rules, no regulations that come into play. So they kind of left it in the US and, I mean, a few other countries, but that were only English speaking. When they are now opening the gates to Europe, they have to fight the regulations that exist, GDPR being one of them. And again, like I said yesterday, there's an article about that came out in different newspapers, that the Irish and the Dutch GDPR environments have actually stopped and have actually made LinkedIn review how they are going to do the European stuff, because there are still regulations violated somehow in this scenario. So, is the privacy protected? We can hope so, but is obviously, I mean, for the Europeans for the moment it is, but the rest of the world, I'm not going to speak for the rest of the world, but we can hope that the regulations on privacy are more or less kept. But the thing is, there is so much data flowing into the model that it becomes an anonymous environment. And when there's so much data, it is hard to actually point at one person. I mean, the one thing that they will probably need to exclude are emails being used, phone numbers being used, addresses being used, possibly names being used. Those will probably have to be excluded to a certain degree, but to another degree, it needs to be in there because the model will use that data to actually show us the right stuff. So there's still a lot of, I would say, elements around. Just like there is for the other AI models, the Chat GPTs, the Copilots, and the other ones with the copyright that copyrights that rests on certain information worldwide that is taken into the LLM systems. I mean, there too, there are already lots of investigations going on about how can we protect copywritten information.
Exactly. Exactly.
And from that side, I think we're only there too at the beginning of how the jurisdiction and legal cases and use cases. So it's something that will be ironed out in the next few years. It's not going to be in the next year. It's going to be a few years because it's not very simple. Plus, it's easy to violate. I mean, if you want to make a video today and you want to have anybody in that video that you would like, you can do that today, which is kind of illegal. And I understand the artists and the people that are in movies that are now can be cloned in AI and easily voices can be going there. There's the whole music industry, all of that. There's all kinds of discussions about the creativity and the usability of the data.
Sky is the limit. Sky is the limit is the correct sentence for
Yeah,
utilizing
it is, and I think that's also where the challenge is to what point are we going to accept that our data is being used and
exactly.
other people are using our data to do stuff. And that's true for the traditional AI systems as well as for LinkedIn systems.
Uh, I just want to add here to all the governments all around the world who, I
Mhm,
mean, see, I want to ask them or I want to suggest humbly. I know it's not my, you know, place or seat
mhm,
to tell them to do that,
mhm,
but I want to humbly suggest is there any rules and regulations implemented on the use of AI or not from the governments? Are there any restrictions? Who is regulating AI? Because it's open AI, everybody has the access to AI, and they are doing anything with that. I mean, say to, for example, I can replicate your face, your voice, and
mhm.
speak like you.
It-
Who is having a watch on this superpower we just unearthed, or what should I say? Please go.
that's exactly the point. That's exactly the point. Is that there is so much going on and so much possible these days, And unfortunately, our laws and our regulations date from a time when that did not exist. So governments, lawyers, legal system are playing catch up mode and are not ahead of the curve because they can't. They're not privy to a lot of this stuff.
Exactly. This new superpower, which is AI, which we
Mhm,
have discovered just recently,
mhm.
in the closing of the year 2023. We just discovered it,
Yep,
and that was the first Chat GPT model,
yep.
OpenAI, and from then on, for this complete year 2024 up till now, it has increased its capabilities so much that it has endless possibilities.
And it's people creating those possibilities or dreaming of possibilities and then basically rolling them back into a piece of software.
Exactly, and that is why, I mean, say,
Mhm,
not only that, usage of AI, implementation of AI models in
mhm,
companies have
mhm,
resulted in uh, so many job losses from all around the world, especially in the US. To be very honest, 30,000 jobs just recently with Amazon.
mhm.
I'm not sure what they are trying to do here. I mean, say, humans are paying the cost for.
To a certain degree, yes. But we also have to remember that these new technologies also create jobs. And there's a disproportion, I agree, but to a certain degree, it requires people to reskill, upskill, side skill, whatever it is. There's going to be jobs available, but we have an idea where we want it to go, but I think we all have to rethink that route these days.
Exactly. We have to
Yep,
rethink that
yep,
route, and
right.
also we have to re
Hmm.
think our approach as well,
Right.
how we deal with this issue.
Okay.
So, moving on quickly to the next question, which is an important question, to be very honest. And the question is on the screen for Mike. Uh, One moment, please.
Yep, yep, yep. I see the question. Well, to answer the question, the training bit is not over. It's just starting. Since LinkedIn is now getting access to our data, because until November 3rd they were not allowed to do that. As November 3rd passed and people have their priorities or their privacy setting to allow LinkedIn to use your data, which in all honesty you should, because it will help you get the right information for you. But that process still has to really get into a high speed mode. And like I said, it's not something that will take a day or 10 days or whatever. I think this is a process of weeks, months, and possibly a year, if not more.
Exactly. I totally agree with you on that. To be very honest with you, only again, the same thing. Only time will tell what
Mhm.
will happen in the future with this new AI model, which is Brew 360. Before moving on to the next question, to my audience who are listening on various platforms right now, or people who are going to watch this recording, if you've got any questions, just put them across to Mike directly, or you can approach me as well. And I'm going to request Mike to answer, and I'm trying to get them answered as well,
Mhm.
and put
Mhm.
them across to you guys after this live session in the form of post carousels and videos.
Okay.
So please do utilize this opportunity and get all your questions answered
Mhm.
about this new model. This is a very important topic, and
mhm,
LinkedIn is a part of our lives right now.
mhm.
So, moving on to the next question very quickly because we are running out of time and we have to
Yes, we
respect it.
are.
So,
Yes, we are.
moving on to the next question. The next question is on the screen for Mike. How does 360 Brew achieve zero shot generalization, meaning it can predict brand new tasks it was never explicitly trained for?
Well, think of it as writing prompts for an AI. You never. The thing is, you write instructions on what you want and how, so it's easy to train and get the answers from text that you already have, that you already conceptualized. So from that point, it doesn't even require retraining because all the little things are connected. It's just you have to formulate your question, i.e., a prompt, to actually resolve that. So the way that, like I explained, is that what we'll be seeing is that the applications that surround the AI, they will send out basically um, prompts to the system, and it will be simple because all the data is there. It's just a matter of trying to connect all the little dots in the whole system, and that doesn't require training of the application. It just requires correct phrasing of the question.
Exactly. I was just trying to look at some more detail in those into this question. But anyhow, um, you know,
Mhm.
um, to add more questions would be again extension of time. So let's go on with the questions we already have. So the next question for you on the screen, Mike.
Yep.
What do the latest AUC benchmarks reveal about how much smarter 360 Brew is compared to the legacy ranking system it replaced?
Huh. I think at this point there is no public data available on that because it's too early days. I think, in all honesty, there is no. I mean, I'm not going to fill it in because I have no idea, and because there is no data and there's no explanation about it.
Fair enough. And thank you for answering that question honestly, Mike. This is what I
Okay.
like about you.
Yeah.
This is what I like about you. Honest answers, straightforward, and very,
Hmm.
very honest, very straightforward, and very upfront questions.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay.
Uh, Answers, I mean. All right. So next question on the screen for you is gonna be: how has a real user behavior in the wild shaped ongoing improvements to the model since the first prototype?
Well, I think the more members join, the more people and the more members that got part of this environment or building up, the more data that gets involved into it, and the more prompting or history that is being created, um, will help the model to reflect better and make it a better model. It's going to learn from itself, and that's how the whole thing works. So it's only by adding more people, more content, that it will actually get better, and it
Okay.
evolves. Just like ChatGPT, where we started in 2023. And sorry, I keep going back to that, but it's something that a lot of people know. But if you go back to 2023 and you compare it to what it is today, which with version 5.0, I mean, in reality, the model has grown, has gotten better, and there was basically no retraining required because they have more data, they have more input, and whatever have you. So it's real world experience that makes the model better.
Exactly. Can you believe that? In just 2023, nobody knew about this ChatGPT. And only
That's
thing
true.
which we knew about the ChatGPT after the invention or after the advent, to be if to put it correctly, after the advent of ChatGPT, we only used it to create resumes,
Yep.
write paragraphs,
Yeah.
correct our English grammars.
Hmm.
Now,
True.
if you see the ChatGPT 5.0 model, I mean, say I have seen Sora creating, real
Yep.
time images of
Yep.
people just,
Yep.
coming out of imagination, real images.
True.
So
Like I said,
it has
these
improved.
models evolve at an unreasonably fast speed.
Not only unreasonably fast speed, but they are evolving at a very alarming rate. That
Yeah.
is what I
Yeah.
am concerned
Not
about.
only. Yeah.
It has to be regulated. In all honesty, there should be some restrictions on it.
Okay.
But anyhow, that would be a discussion for another time. Moving on quickly to the next question, but before that, if anybody is having any questions of their own, they can put them across to Mike right now in the comments, and I'm going to ask Mike about uh, those questions, and he would be happy to answer them all. And also, just go ahead and follow Mike on LinkedIn. The best way to reach out to Mike would be on LinkedIn. Just put, I mean, say, flood his inbox with the questions you've got right now. Uh, uh, you know, you want to improve your profile, your
Hmm.
organizations need team trainings. Mike is all up for it. He provides everything to individuals, to
Hmm.
organizations, and he's best of the best,
Hmm.
which I had the pleasure of
Thank you.
having. I
Thank
had
you.
the pleasure of having that experience with him.
Hmm.
So, moving on to the next question quickly. Okay, okay. Let's put the question. The question number 11 would be: what changed on LinkedIn the moment 360 Brew started rolling out in the mid 2025, and how quickly did the shift from quantity to quality become noticeable?
Well, again, yeah, the change has started in mid 2025, but I think we're still in the middle of the shift, so it's not an on-off switch that they are doing. It's a gradual, step by step, little bit by little bit that they are doing. So it will still take time to get the results and to see the shift from the quality to or from quantity to quality. Um, some people are reporting it already today. I think some of that is wishful thinking, but okay, that's good. That means they are doing something right. But it's still it's ongoing, so it's not a we closed we stopped on Sunday night and on Monday morning we switched on with a new system. It's not happening like that. It's a little bit at a time because again I come back to the drawing that says the applications have to be modified to take advantage of the model. And that doesn't happen overnight.
Exactly, exactly. I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you. Moving on to the next question, which is question number 12,
Hmm.
quickly on the screen.
Okay.
How does the new profile first analysis decide who sees a post and who gets buried, especially for niche experts?
Well, the thing is, like I said, we when you or the AI system is analyzing our profiles, is creating an inventory of things that we are interested in, that we talk about, and so on. Add to that our comments and our reactions. Add to that the type of content we get to see. So all of that means that the AI system from LinkedIn knows who we are and what we're interested in. So on the content side, if you create a post, which is the other side, that post will be analyzed and will again be mapped to saying who are the people who would be interested in this, and that will be lined up with profiles that actually would be appropriate to see that content. So there's going to be a better matching between what you see and and what you are eating, breathing, and so on. So your profile will define who you are, and it's going to be really important that you have a fully fledged, clear profile of who you are and what you do and who you serve and all of that stuff in order for you to get the content that you want to get. And again, maybe you need to look at the content creators and say, if they produce content like that, I want to see this. So, but the system will learn to match these two together much better. And if you're writing for anybody and everybody, chances are probably your content isn't going to be very much shown to many people. If you are in a niche, you will have people in that niche looking at your content. So it's about clarity, it's about focus, and it's about matching it with your target audience.
Exactly. Exactly. I totally agree with you on that. And thank you so much for answering that question in detail and briefly.
Mhm.
Uh, I'm just trying to search uh, more facts on more questions. I mean, say to add to that question, I'm just trying to search,
Okay.
and I came up with a question out of curiosity.
Mhm.
Uh, that is, see, to be very honest, LinkedIn started out as a platform for a job search, as a job board. Then it
Not
evolved
really.
into a learn.
I
Not
kind of
really.
disagree. I kind of disagree. LinkedIn started out as a platform where you would basically visualize what your network looked like. Now, the more people that join the platform, as there are more people joining the platform, it became interesting as a database for recruiters because people uploaded their CVs, resumes onto the platform. So you've gotten, recruiters kind of looked at it as a free database to find people to fill their slots. And as more people joined, salespeople were discovering that people of all kinds of levels were there. So it became a prospecting database. And the marketeer said, oh, well, everybody's there. It becomes a place where we can do branding. But the original thought of LinkedIn was it visualized your your network because LinkedIn is based on one simple principle, which is we are all connected to anyone in the world in 6 stages. So, anybody in this world, we have a path of people we know that know people that know people that know people. And when you get to the sixth person, you probably have reached the end of your line because you've reached anybody and everybody in the world. And that's what LinkedIn was based on initially. But the more people there are, the more interesting it becomes for other trades like recruiters and sales and marketing and whatever, thought leaders and you name it. I mean, it just became a true social media platform, but it started out as a truly networking system.
Oh, Thank you so much for correcting me then. It did not start as a job board or a
No,
job search portal. It
no.
started out as a networking system.
Yep.
So it is still a networking system, to be very honest, in all honesty.
It still is, but people forget about the networking system. For other people, it's no longer networking. It's list building. That's what I would want to call it. It's also a post that I wrote today. It's more list building than it is networking. And networking means is I connect with you, we have conversations. It's kind of like going to an event and you network with people there, and you don't want to lose contact with these people. That was what LinkedIn was all about in the beginning. In 2003, 2004, even all the way through 2009, when the whole by 2009 it was already a platform for recruiters. And then LinkedIn added the fact that you could put status updates, posts, and yeah, the rest is history, of course.
Exactly. Exactly. I totally agree with you on that. Anyhow, moving quickly to the next question, which I have for you on the screen. That is question number 13, if I'm not wrong. What hard numbers, conversation rates, retention, premium signups prove that the quality over quantity bet is paying off 6 months later?
Oh, that's a good question. Again, this is one of those things LinkedIn does not publish. They don't publish their KPIs and stuff like that. Um, it's a lot of that is done in the eye of the beholder, meaning the user on LinkedIn who feels that it is better or not better in this whole scheme of things. So LinkedIn is not talking about that. Certainly not at this point. I think if in the future they have hard data to prove on their side, it will be part of one or the other press statement, press release. But for the moment, there's no really. It's really in the eye of the beholder, be meaning us.
Exactly. I totally agree with you. Uh, and Thank you so much for
Mhm.
explaining that question in detail. Moving on to the next question, which is question number 14 on your screen. What single evolution from day one concept to today's live model represents the biggest leap forward in professional networking?
Huh, I think what we're well, people won't say it's a leap forward because their reach is down. But I think the fact that your home feed and your results in searches be more will be much better than they have been so far, and that would be the biggest leap forward. On the other hand, it will also be a negative step because it will also make sure that we got stuck in bubbles, which means we will even, I think that's my prediction, is we'll see more of the same people appear in our feeds, in our suggestions and stuff like that, because of the fact that this matching between my profile, my activity, behavior, and so on with what's out there in terms of providing content and all the rest. So the challenge will be how do we get, and we have that today also already, how do we get out of the, how easily can we get out of bubbles? So how easily can I switch industries without completely rewriting my profile because I have been in a different industry for so many years,
Exactly. Exactly.
right?
Uh, Thank you so much for explaining that question in
Hmm.
brief detail. In all honesty, I want to tell you one more thing that LinkedIn introduces new features,
Hmm.
then it take away the features as you know
Yep.
as the profile. We had that story kind of thing in the
Hmm.
profile photo that is gone.
Yep.
We've
Yeah.
got that small introduction speaker mic.
Yep.
I think it's still there or it's gone.
Yeah. Yeah. It
Still,
is still there. Yeah. 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 It is there. But yeah,
and
you're right. LinkedIn brings new features forward and then decides that they're not necessary or they're not used, and if they're not used or not enough used or wrongly used, then they take it away. I mean, it's their platform.
exactly. And I've seen that
Hmm.
for the past. I've been recruiting for the past 10 years,
Hmm.
and LinkedIn Recruiter was an important part of our jobs. So I've been seeing many features gone now, which we
Hmm.
had before.
I know.
We also had introductions.
Hmm.
Kindly get introduced. I mean, say we can ask someone to introduce us to
Hmm.
someone else.
Yep.
So we had that. Now they
Yep.
have taken it. We had that little uh, profile badges for your intellectual. I'm not sure.
Hmm.
What do we call that? I think there was a badge for yellow badge or some badge was
Yeah, I
there.
mean, those were the, yeah, but that was one way of LinkedIn training its AI system through what was called collaborative articles. And if you collaborated, if you had enough people upvoting you and all of that stuff, you got one of those gold badges, which really wasn't representative. And LinkedIn terminated that too, which I think was a good thing.
Also, the audio events are gone,
Audio
which
events are gone, and I mean it's their platform. We have to. I have to believe that when they take something away, that there is a good reason they do that. Um, and it's because people don't use it. It's because of all kinds of reasons, but this, in all honesty, they have their reasons, and sometimes it upsets us. Sometimes it's like, oh well, I guess it didn't work. Like with stories, some people were upset. As far as I'm concerned, it wasn't the place to do it. LinkedIn isn't the place where you put stories. But who am I? I mean, there were people doing lots of stories.
exactly, exactly. I totally agree with you on that. Moving quickly to the next question, uh, which is question number 15. On the screen, how will 360 Brew affect what ordinary members see in their feed day to day?
Basically, it's going to be more focused. It's going to be what they want to see, hopefully, and it's going to be quality wise better. That's the simple answer.
Thank you so much for that answer and explaining. I mean, say
Hmm.
giving that answer itself has many questions into it, but anyways, we have to move quickly now. So, question
Yeah.
number 16.
Okay.
Question number 16 on your screen. Does 360 Brew give creators more control over the audiences they reach or less?
In all honesty, I think I'm going to go for less
Okay. Why
because
do you say?
the algorithm or the algorithm. It's not the the model is
LLM.
is, is the LLM model is going to work on conceptual stuff, and you'll reach less people. But in the meantime, LinkedIn is introducing the fact that you can sponsor content, which is then up to you if you want. We're going more and more into pay to play game. So if you want more people to see your content, you're just going to have to pay for it. So that's why I'm also going with the less.
Okay, that's awesome. I totally agree with you on that as well. I'm not sure why did I agree with you on that, but it feels correct to think that
Hmm.
it's going to be less
Hmm.
than before.
Yeah,
Uh,
true.
uh, so in all honesty, what I really think is the world is changing very fast. Everything is
Hmm.
going on. I mean, say the next morning you get up, you you does not guarantee. I mean, say you will see a new world the next morning.
Hmm.
Nothing is guaranteed right now with the advent of AI.
True.
Everything is
Yeah,
changing fast,
true.
but it is as it is. So moving on quickly to the next question, which is question number
Mhm.
17 on the screen. Has the algorithm changed how engagement metrics, views, likes, comments are weight?
The answer to that question is there's going to be a different weight. It's going to be done differently. Um, I think comments will always be the best thing to do, because it also gives more signal to the LLM model of what you like, don't like, what your interests are. So I think it will change, but to what degree we don't know. But it will be more. Comments will continue to be the prime element when it comes down to you indicating what content you want to see, and for the content creator to be shown to more people. But that's not going to be as simple as it is now.
Okay, to the same context, I
Yeah.
have one doubt. Now, in the past, clicks, likes,
Hmm.
views were the main. I mean, say the people viewing your post, the time spent by the readers looking at your post, were
Yeah.
all combined, were a part of the metric which the algorithm
Hmm. Hmm.
uh, uh, used to promote or dissolve that post.
Yeah. True.
And because of that, people knew about it, scammers knew about it, hackers
Hmm.
knew about it. They tried to
Exactly.
game the
Yep.
system. They used
Yep.
the parts and everything. They said that it's an overnight success for
Hmm.
them. Now, coming to my question to the same context, now, which I have also spoken about in the beginning of the session. Now, according to you, do you think that it is going to be Armageddon on all the hacker profiles, on all the wrongdoers? Now,
As
with this,
I agree. Yes, the answer is yes. But like I said in the beginning too, these people are probably now already looking at how can we influence, or how can we find other ways to 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 get our content where, you know seen by more people. And that today is unclear. I also have a bunch of questions along those lines, and it will. I mean, mine are more in the lines of what with languages. I mean, will I get more, post in my own language, or in somebody, or in another language? Because I mean, I do everything in English, but I live in a country with three languages. So will I get more of those? But those things are not clear because we are not into the system yet. So I think we'll have to wait and see on that.
exactly, totally
Okay.
agree with you. Moving on quickly to the next question, I might as well have to omit some questions as well,
Yes,
just to
please.
keep the session under 2 hours.
Yep.
And I'm extremely sorry for my audience. I had many questions, but we have to conclude the session. And also, Mike has other responsibilities with
Yep.
feeding the dogs, and other sessions as well. So, quickly moving on to the next question, which is question number 18 on the screen for Mike. What internal checks exist to prevent bias? Example, favoring certain industries, genders, or regions?
That's a good question. And in all honesty, because we're so early in the cycle, we don't know if that's gonna be an issue as we move forward. In will there be systems in place? I think it will be based on the actual people in those minorities, if I can put it that way, that will actually, if they participate into the whole scheme of things, they will be able to move the dial. If they all opt out, the dial will actually go to the people who are part of the system. So there's room for more bias unless the people who are discriminated actually join the whole scheme of things. I mean, if you have the man woman relationship, there's got to be more women who actually contribute, let their profiles be read, and stuff like that to actually balance that dial. And then there's no more discussion about men get their posts seen more than women because it's all going to be about what the content is and what is in people's profiles. So I think it's unclear at this point, but we'll just have to wait to see how this pans out.
Um,
Hopefully, it's better than today.
it is. I totally agree with that point as well. And also, I never knew you knew about that discussion. Whose gender-based posting, or gender-based reactions, or gender-based, traction on posts. I never knew. You also you know about that discussion where they are discussing that, you know.
No, I know.
Uh,
I'm regularly part of discussion about women getting less views than men, which I totally disagree with. But they have numbers to prove otherwise. But it is also part of the way women network, the way women write, their goals are. It has to do with how that is done, and less with it's LinkedIn steering it. LinkedIn is not steering it. It's just men are screaming louder, so they get more views.
Mhm. Totally agree with that. Thank you so much for that brief
Mhm.
answer. Quickly moving on to the next question, which is question number 19. How transparent will LinkedIn be about 360 Brews, ongoing updates, change logs, public notes, and dashboards, which I really doubt.
Well, there's only like one real white paper out there about 360 Brew. LinkedIn is notorious for not sharing a lot of their internal kitchen with the rest of the world. So I think there's going to be no dashboard, no live dashboard. There's not going to be any information unless it all of a sudden has some good news for everybody in there, or for certain people that are going to be convinced to take part. But LinkedIn will not share that information.
Okay. Well, if they are not sharing that information, um, is that a good thing or a bad thing? They're not being transparent with us.
They have LinkedIn is notorious for not being transparent, and it's never going to change. Um, it's part of their culture. I think the larger they grow, the more they're integrated into Microsoft, the less transparent it will be getting.
Okay. Well, we cannot do anything about that
No,
until and unless we start our own you know, organization as LinkedIn. Anyhow,
yeah,
that's a very controversial
yeah,
talk. LinkedIn, no offense. No offense.
Okay.
Okay. Quickly moving on to the next question, which is going to be question number 20. Is there any external oversight or academic collaboration to audit fairness and explainability?
Well, the answer to that question is there's no formal program. Um, I think the only people that are going to have external oversight is the EU regulators with GDPR kind of things, and the DSA Act, and the Data Security Act. So other than that, nope. That's the only. It's only the EU that will actually have some oversight. Academic collaboration, yes, because the whole 360 Brew paper is written together with a university, so there is academic collaboration, and it will continue to be. I think OpenAI does the same thing, and Copilot too, so there's nothing new there. But from a regulatory point of view, I think at this point we have to count on the EU regulators.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much for answering that question. Quickly moving on
Mhm,
to the next question on the screen. Actually, these are two questions
mhm.
coupled together. What's the
Okay.
long term vision? Could the 360 Brew become the single AI layer across all Microsoft enterprise products? How often is the model retrained or fine tuned with new behavioral data?
Well, the second question is simple. The model is continuously updated and fine tuned, right? So it's going to evolve as it is, a day at a time. The first question is, will it become a layer across Microsoft Enterprise? In I would like to say yes, but I think it's going to be a no. Why? Because the LinkedIn wants to be an independent company separated from Microsoft, even though they're part of Microsoft. They like to be independent. And I think that they might be sharing data, but they're not going to use the same AI systems together. I think that's not going to happen.
Okay, fair enough. Fair
Mhm.
enough. The last and final question, which is
Okay.
on your screen.
Okay.
What signals are emerging as new predictors of trust and relevance beyond clicks, likes, and follows?
Reading time, dwell time, which is the infamous dwell time, will emerge as new predictors of trust and relevance. Um, I think that is possibly going to be the major one. On top of the clicks, the likes, and the follows, the comments. Like I said, it's the what we see today will also continue in the future, and I think comments, saves, dwell time will expand in terms of importance, and again, importance in function of your profile, what you see, what you get, how you react to things. Your behavior will be one of those. So those are going to be the emerging signals.
Okay, fair enough. Thank you so much for answering that question in detail.
Mhm,
And that was the last question, to be very honest. In all honesty, after discussing everything about 360 Brew, in short,
mhm,
the summary is 360 Brew shifts LinkedIn from popularity based to credibility based. It reads
mhm,
the professional graph as text, learns from meaningful behaviors, and aims to reward trust, consistency, and expertise, not virality. Uh, to I mean, say some elaboration on that, if you can.
mhm. Yep.
Okay,
Well,
good.
I think in itself, it's think it's a good thing that we're going to these newer and probably more modern forms of consumption and data, rather than the virality tricks and hacks that are being done around it. So I think I'm going to be glad that all these um, um, these cheap tricks will possibly disappear. Like I said, I keep my eye open for new ones, but at this point, it's too early in the game. But I mean, it's a good thing we're moving in this direction. It hurts a little bit now because we're in transition phase. We get less views. We're adapting to a new world. But all in all, I see it as an opportunity because if your profile becomes more important, there's much more work for me because we can, you know, help people improve their profiles, and that will improve what they get to see. So it's a double win.
It's a win-win situation for
The
LinkedIn
only
and its
thing the
users.
only thing that we can't do is increase people's behavior and activity on the platform, because that will also define what they get to see. But we can only hope that this leads to a more active base of members compared to what we have now, with about 30% of the people, the members, active on a monthly basis.
Awesome. Awesome. Exactly. Exactly. I totally agree with you, Mike. And with that, to uh, we come to the end of this amazing session. And wow, as we approach the end of this monumental conversation, I want everyone who is watching me live or the recording, I want you to remember this. The future isn't coming, it's already here. And it belongs to those who adapt, engage, and evolve with purpose. Today, you did not just watch history being discussed, you became a part of it. Because Shark Podcast isn't about listening, it's about awakening. So,
Mhm.
Mike, from deep down from my heart, thank you for your wisdom, your authenticity, and your endless contributions to the world of LinkedIn and beyond. It has been a
Okay.
pleasure talking to you, Mike.
Thank you for having me. And well, if we have other controversial subjects, I'm sure you can find me and we'll bring it on.
Sure, I'm going to do that, Mike, because you break complex subject into simple facts and simple things that we get involved in the session.
Hmm.
We does not know where the time goes when
Hmm.
we listen to you. That is what I feel. And to everyone watching, thank you for showing up, for believing in this mission, and for being part of a movement that's redefining what it means to be human in a digital world. Until next time, stay curious, stay connected, and keep brewing greatness. This is Shaq signing off from the Shark Podcast. See you in the next revolution.